Insane in the Membrane.
Hello and welcome to another edition of your favourite podcast, Insane in the Membrane, with me, Rich Wilson. And this week I'm joined by the other half of the lovely boys. It's the wonderful Ben Cohen. Hello.
It's frozen again for me.
It will do that. It will do that.
Did you just introduce me and then I
I've
just
introduced
stared at
you.
it like blankly? In the record, that's what it will look like.
It happens every fucking time. I'm right by the router. I wouldn't mind. When we moved in and we said we want really decent internet, we want the best you can get. Oh yeah, we've got fibre optic bollocks in your area. And
yeah.
I was like, well, you shouldn't be using the word bollocks. I am a customer. And I was like, oh, and then I'm by the fucking thing. I'm by the window. It should be catching all of the internet, but
all of the internet. That's how you catch it.
All of it. That's how you can just open a window and it comes through.
That's right.
Yeah. How are you, Ben? You all right, mate? You look like you're in your. Where are you? In your attic. That's very nice.
I'm in the attic. Yeah. I've been up here. I've been zooming all day. I've just done a speed awareness course up here. I literally got off about half an hour ago. Yeah.
It's weird, isn't it? Those things. I had to do one. I did when I first did one online. It took me all day. And now they've narrowed it down to 3 hours.
Yeah, I think mine was less actually. Mine was like 2.5 or yeah. But it was, it's very like patronising stuff. You feel like you're in a nursery school. The way the questions they're asking you.
Yeah.
They put there's a picture on the screen with a 40 limit sign and a big 40 on the road, and they're like, now what's the speed limit here? And I'm like, I can't actually answer that out loud because I feel like it would insult my intelligence to just be like, is it 40?
Mate. Quiet. And it annoys me because I don't rush it. I don't drive around like I'm not a Silver Dream racer, as Stu Whiffen from Hardcore Listings calls it. It's always getting caught late at night coming back, and they've changed the speed limit for the roadworks that aren't there yet, and you're slowing down. I've just got another 3 points because I was slowing down, not in time for the camera, and I'm like, and when it came through, it was like, oh, you were doing 65. You go, yeah, on a motorway that's normally 70. You're thieving bastards.
How many points have you got?
I've got 3 already, and I'm going to. This will be another 3 coming, but. The 3 I've had them for 2 years, so they'll come off next year.
I think I'm at 9 at the minute, and 3 of them were got from my bicycle. Like going for a red light on my bicycle.
Do they do that?
Going for a red light. Well, yeah, I mean, it depends what you do, but it was going through a red light on my bicycle, and the police pulled me over, and I probably could have talked my way out of it, but I have an immediate I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like being talked down to. No. And I'm not very good at just being like, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, and so they gave me 3 points and a fine.
Oh mate, it's things like that. I'm the same when it could just be, just taken to one side and go, that was a bit stupid. Like I did it years ago, must have been about 25 years ago. I used to cycle to my job. I was working in an old people's home, and I'd come flying down this hill, and then I looked right, and there was nothing coming, so I turned straight out onto the road. But I was going at such a rate, I managed to overtake a car that had just gone along. So I'd gone around him, and then as I went and did that, the police came out of another side turning and then pulled me over up the road.
Yeah,
they said, we're not gonna punish you as such, but we just want to point out, have you got family? And I went, yeah, I've just had a little baby. And you want us to have to ring them, do you? Do you want us to take you round there in a bag and go, this is what Dad did?
So is that what you do? Is that protocol? You take your person around in a bag?
Yeah, they scoop them up like roadkill and stick them in a bag for life. The irony, and then they take it round. I believe this is yours. So yeah, I got done like that. But I know what you mean. It's with speed awareness as well, because I remember going to the last one I went to was a physical one, like before the lockdowns, And I
Yeah.
remember I got there just as it was starting, so everyone was sort of sat away. So I ended up to sit right at the front, and I'm sat there, and then they asked that question, "Why are we here?" And everyone's going, "Oh, to learn about traffic and to learn about better driving," and I was just annoyed to be there. And I went, "To get points off our license."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he
Yeah,
went,
you
well,
want to
"Yeah." He
be
goes,
truthful.
"Yeah." It's like that's why we're here. I'm not here to. I
Yeah.
didn't plan this. This is bullshit.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Don't, I mean, Joe, it's like it's stuff that you already know.
Yeah,
You already know it all pretty much. But it does. There is little bits of it now, which I guess I will. It will make a difference. I think.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think it does make a difference. But whilst you're in it, you're just like, I'm a fucking grown up. Don't talk to me like that.
There's bits of it that will go. Yeah, there are bits of it that will go
Yeah,
in. I do remember there was one, and they said, "Oh, they just said, oh, look at where are the dangers in this video?"
yeah,
And so we're all watching them, and then I went, well, and then they go round, and I went, well, that there, and that there, and that there, and then she said, oh, and then she was going, oh, the trouble is, most people, everybody looks at the end of the bonnet, they don't look further than the end of their car. What you must do is blah 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 blah, and she was going on for ages, and I just had to, I said to her, look, I said, I'm not being patronising or weird. I said that I was a bus driver, and you do a driving course, where you sort of like you learn about road reading and planning. So you learn how to look further up the road and speed
yeah,
limits and things. So I said, and that's just never left me. So there's the irony that I'm here because I didn't look at a speed limit.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
I'm like that. I just don't like being patronised. You
yeah. It's
know?
difficult, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
difficult.
But we're nice people, Ben. Apart
Yeah.
from that,
Oh yeah, totally. No, I feel like I don't feel like I've got anything morally. I'm all good. I'm all good.
yeah,
I do little things like that, little things like where I like to, keep my independence as a person. I feel like the UK's got so many like rules and
mm,
regulations. Like you ever go anywhere like Thailand and stuff, the police are corrupt. But you feel so much freer to,
yeah,
if you want to fuck up, you'll fuck up and you'll pay the consequences yourself.
right.
I don't know. So there's those rules in the UK. I break them. The little ones, which I don't think really matter. As long as you're switched on.
I think everyone, in order to get by, I think everybody's maybe not breaking them, but bending a few bits here and there.
Yeah,
Everybody
yeah.
is, because everything's corrupt from the top down. So everyone's doing,
I
little
think
bits here
I,
and there.
I think you have to be, otherwise you're not an individual, and you'll just be like a drone,
Yeah.
and then you can get used, and people can use you. You know.
This is getting deep and dark very quickly. I, it does make me laugh when people go on about identity theft and fraud and things like that.
Yeah.
And I do remember I got this email. I don't know if you've ever got it, and it says we've got footage of you. We know what you've been looking at online, and we will
Right.
share these
Right.
videos to your family if you don't pay us. Blah blah blah.
Right.
Click send if you don't believe us. So I was like, fucking send. What are you gonna do? I know what I look at. My family
Yeah.
can look at that if they want. It's gonna be a weird Sunday afternoon, but
Yeah. Yeah.
you crack
So
on,
what was
lads.
there? Was there any consequence? What happened?
Nothing happened. I pressed
Yeah.
send, and then I didn't hear again. So I was like, yeah, just send it. I
So
know, what I look
so,
at and what I'm doing is not. I know it's not like
yeah.
that out there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. You're all in the normal categories on Pornhub.
yeah.
Yeah.
It hasn't gone. I've not needed
Hasn't
to
gone.
explore the
Nah.
weird and wonderful.
I,
Quite vanilla in that respect.
yeah. I tried to like completely wean off it totally because
Yeah,
I think if you're in a long-term relationship, you need to be you need to be excited by your wife, right?
yes,
You need to,
yeah,
because
absolutely.
otherwise, because if you go too mad online, then that's not going to happen in your marriage. Well, actually, maybe it is, but that's how you keep it
No,
spicy. But but you've got
keep
to,
it spicy.
yeah, I don't know. You can't get desensitized if you want to have like a good, uh, you want to have like a decent sex life with your like long-term partner. if you go too crazy, you're going to fuck it up, I think.
Oh God, yeah,
Do you know
absolutely.
what I mean? If you go too crazy on
Yeah,
like in your on porn and stuff.
yeah, yeah. I had a not a major issue. It was just it must have been
Just 4 or 5 times a day,
4 or 5 times a day. It was
yeah,
when I was with my ex. I've only been married once before, despite the fact that
yeah,
people think I've been married 90 times. I've only ever been married once before. And I remember my last wife, India, bless her. She came in from work, and we had a bit of dinner, and then she went, all right. She goes, I need to ask you something. I went, what do you mean? She went, are you having an
scary.
affair? Yeah. And I
Oh
went,
yeah,
why? And she went, because every time I come in and you're on your laptop, you shut it really quick. And I'm like, no. And I had to come clean and go, no, I've been looking at porn. I'm looking at it too much. And she went, she goes, thank God for that.
all right, yeah, no, that's good. That's a good way to take it. I remember one of my mates being like, he was he was he wasn't allowed to watch porn at all. When it was brought up in front of his girlfriend, he'd be like trying to like shut the conversation down, and I'd be like, "What are you talking about? Are you mad?" Like everyone, we all do it. It's natural. It's not.
Everyone has a look,
She
yeah.
took it as cheating, which
I don't
that's
believe that.
just
That's ridiculous, I think. That
that is
extreme.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah, it's funny actually. I was talking to my lovely wife now, and we were having that conversation, and we were like, I don't mind what you look at, and I was
yeah,
the same. She was like, she goes, I don't mind what you look at. I know what you look at. What we were talking about it's different if it's like on a more personal level, like if it's more
yeah, yeah,
if
yeah,
you're paying for like an OnlyFans, or if it's a more interactive
yeah.
thing.
But you're like deep into the albums on one of your wife's friends' Facebooks. You're back in like 2013 or something like that.
I don't think I've ever
Lanzarote
done that.
beach pictures.
I don't think I've ever done that,
Yeah,
but I know people that have.
yeah, that's a problem. Um,
I haven't got the energy either now. That's the thing.
no, I know, I don't. It is. It just kind of like you never think, do you? But it's not my. In your 20s, it's just like very difficult to control those urges. But
Yeah.
but now I'm finding I'm very, very, very content. I mean, I was my wife. I was in love with. We used to go out when we were teenagers
Mm.
at college, and then we split up for 16 years, and we got back together 6 years
Oh
ago
wow.
now. But I never fell out of love with her. So when I got her back, I was like, the blinkers wrong. This is just like, there's
Ah,
you know what I mean?
that's
So
beautiful.
I'm fine with not looking elsewhere or not being tempted or anything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. It's funny.
Yeah,
It is funny. Yeah, you're right. If you start you too involved in that side of things, then it takes away any energy you've got for the real life relationship that you're in. Yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah,
so. It
yeah,
can
yeah.
do.
You're
Yeah,
right. That's a beautiful thing, man. I'm glad. Do you know what? I've only ever met you once, and I knew straight away that you were a good dude. I just knew
that's nice.
from our interactions briefly that we'd had online, and then meeting you at that gig the other week. I was like, this is a top dude. You got a good energy, and it
Yeah,
was. I
you have
just
as well. I feel the same way. It's
thanks, mate.
yeah, it's just it comes through, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. And we would. It was. And we would. Maybe it's to do with seeing your videos a lot, or maybe that kind of builds a connection before you meet the person. But straight away, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get on with this guy. This is nice.
Yeah,
This is
yeah.
nice.
Mine and Willie's stuff online is very like we get people like kids, little kids, all the way through to like old people, all just loving it. It's very much wholesome vibes, mainly, and there's
Yeah,
kind of like like a love for each other, which kind of runs through it all. So that comes through, I guess.
it's really nice. It's really yeah. When we had Will on the other week, and he mentioned the same thing, where yeah, and it is a nice. It's nice to have something lovely rather
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
than kind of having a go at everybody and everyone's trying to
yeah.
be an
Just
edge
so just
lord.
like yeah, silly stuff. It's just. I mean, I love slapstick stuff. It's just so, to me, it's just so funny just to watch
Yeah,
someone fall over or get hit in the face by a ball or something like that. It's like, I like other stuff as well, more cerebral stuff. But if someone gets hit in the face with a bottle or a ball or something, with whilst they're
yeah.
doing that, that's even better.
I've got a brilliant photo of my son Bailey, and he's getting smashed in the head with a rubber dinghy, but it's just before the dinghy hits him, and the
Yeah,
face
yeah,
that he's pulling. It's one of my most
yeah,
favourite photographs ever. It's fucking great, and all his hair's like up in the air. It's just because he's just about to get
yeah.
pounded with this dinghy. Oh,
That's good.
beautiful.
That's good.
Well, I remember it was a time, I probably talked about this on here before. My lads were obsessed with Jackass. So there was a
Yeah, I love
point,
that as well.
oh, at the time, man, oh my
How old are
God,
your
God.
kids?
So they're now 26 and 31.
Right.
So this was 15 years ago.
So
Or
they were like quite young with Jackass still, wouldn't it?
yeah. They
Yeah,
probably shouldn't have been watching some of it.
yeah,
Mind you, I introduced them to South Park the movie, and that was on a VHS. So that's how
yeah,
young they were then. And I remember they badgered me, and I spoke to a few mates, and they were like, "Well, there's a bit of swearing at the beginning, but not after that. It's just general, just kind of South Park-esque stuff." So
right,
I was
yeah.
like, "All right, okay, Lord, I'll let them watch it." And I remember putting it on, and it was just that, "Shut your fucking face, Uncle Fucker," and I was like. And they just looked at the boys, and their eyes were massive, and they're like, "Oh, this is the greatest thing we've ever seen." And then
Yeah.
we're watching it, and then I remember sort of dozing off halfway through, and I woke up just as there was this, "Hi boys, I'm the clitoris." I was like, "No," and I had to switch it off.
Yeah, no, you got to jump on it, haven't you?
Yeah,
I remember when I was little and my mum let me watch. I don't know how old I was, but I was really young. But have you ever seen See No Evil, Hear No Evil?
yeah. Years ago.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a great film, and but loads and loads of swearing in it.
Mm.
And my mum said that to me when she said she said this is a really good film, but there's loads of swearing in it. So she'd asked me if I was going to be okay with it. I'm like, yeah, of course I'm going to be okay with it. But I remember watching that and you just love it. You love
Yeah,
it because it's fun. Because if it's genuinely funny as well, it's good. I don't think swearing is a big problem for kids. That's not really a thing. Like
no,
my little boy is like, he's really he monitors himself. He's fine with it. He doesn't really. I swear in front of him, but not like I don't try to. Every now and then it comes out. It's fine. He monitors himself. But I remember when Willie was living here in lockdown, and we were just, we were just we were just being ourselves, basically, very, very kind of free around him. He was 4 years old at the time, and but they're like a sponge. And he was upstairs with Natasha, and he was like, we were just talking like we would normally talk around each other, and he was like really picking up on our mannerisms and stuff and everything. And he was Natasha, my wife, was like, where's Ben and Willie? And he was like, oh, they're just fucking around downstairs. And you have to just be like, oh, and try and not laugh out loud at it because it's just great. Like kids swearing is like, there's nothing better, is there?
especially when they do it like that, when they get it right, they say it
Yeah,
at
yeah,
the
yeah,
right
yeah.
time. They know exactly. They might not know what it means, but they fucking nail it, and you're like, "Oh,
Yeah,
that's too funny. That is too
yeah.
funny."
I love
Um,
it.
I remember Bailey. Well, he's my middle one now, but so he was. We used to. So there was me and a woman called Marilyn that I was in a relationship with. Beautiful Marilyn, lovely Marilyn with her. And we used to take her son and my sons to Brighton, and we used to give them a big bag of coins and go, right, off you go. And they'd run up
Yeah,
the pier and they're chucking coins around. And we were walking up, and there was a woman playing a harp, and she was busking with this harp. And Bailey was stood in front of her for ages. And as we got to him, he went, no wonder she's got no money, Dad. She spent it all on that fucking harp. Oh,
oh, that
God.
is great.
And you
You could
couldn't
put
tell
that
him
straight on
off.
telly. Yeah.
It was
That's
so
really good.
funny, so funny. But yeah, I get it. It's especially now when there's so much to see, and there's like when I was younger, there was certain videos that people talked about and copies went flying around, but now it's just all out there, isn't it? On the internet, it's
Yeah,
just there. They can
yeah.
find it.
We
Tricky.
don't let our little boy have a phone or a tablet. He
No,
uses
no,
ours
no.
every now and then to Spotify, and I'm worried about that because I just feel like I'm going to lose him to it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it is scary. That it's really scary because it's so addictive,
yeah,
um, and I reckon it's so damaging as well. And I think we'll look back on this era as like it's like smoking or something like that.
yeah.
Just having that free access to all of that.
I think there's that. It comes up on there quite a bit. That kind of sense of you lose that sense of excitement when you discover a new thing. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
I've used
yeah, yeah,
this example before, so I'm really big on my vinyl. I'm always buying records, and the feeling I get when I find this particular record that I've been after for a while that you can't get, I'm like, I found it, I found it. That
yeah,
feeling
yeah,
you used to get that
yeah,
more often with things, and now it's
yeah,
just
definitely.
it's just there, isn't it?
Everything's easy access. Yeah, it is. It totally takes like the wonderment away from a lot of things.
Wonderment.
Um,
That's a great word. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So with your
yeah,
parents, what were they? They sound kind of chilled when you were growing up.
yeah. My parents are cool. I love my parents and I get on really well with them. Me and my sister try and we try and create situations where we're all together, like going away
Mm,
together in a house, like at Christmas. Natasha's family all come and stay up at my parents' house up in Essex. They've got quite a big place up there, and we can all fit in. So we have both families all in there, and
oh,
it's
amazing.
great all together. But my dad is basically he's got a child's kind of ADHD mind
Mm,
still, and he was like I'd never doubted his like love for us growing up, but he was a bit like volatile. Like he had like a
mm,
real temper on him, and it was like scary. Um, and that was always like something to like manage, trying to like manage my my parents arguing,
yeah,
but but they always had like love for like us kids, and it was always good for us. And I don't know like what's better, like if they should have like they stay together because they're still together now, right? And
mm,
they're like they've got nothing in common, they care about each other, but they
yeah,
haven't slept in the same room for like 30 years or something. So it's a weird relationship, and they get on each other's nerves, but they also there's a they care about each other. Um,
yeah,
but yeah, it was basically no matter what your parents do, I think they fuck you up in some way. I think like I
yeah,
think the reason this is what I think about stand-ups, right? Male stand-ups, especially, is like all of them are didn't get some sort of approval from their dad. Like my dad
definitely.
is the most he's been impressed with me, I think, is when I got 6 free bags of coal from this from this like place that was getting knocked down. He's impressed by stuff like he was impressed the other day when I reversed down this driveway into a parking space. But the stuff that I actually care about, he doesn't. I don't get it from him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So
I've just started getting it from my parents. They finally sort of get it now. Now they've seen
yeah,
there's things that are tangible. They go, oh, you've got like your shows on that channel. I'm like, yeah, and they're like, oh yeah,
yeah,
we
yeah,
watch that channel. I'm like, oh, okay. So now they get it.
yeah,
Whereas before it
yeah.
was like, stop fucking around.
Yeah, no, but it's like my dad's always. Did your parents like want you to do something or be something or press you into anything else?
No, my mum and dad have been pretty cool actually.
Yeah,
I actually had a realization recently that they wanted to send me to a better school. They wanted to send me to this other school, and I made such a fuss about going to this school where all my friends were going
yeah,
and they went, all right, you can go to that school, but they really wanted me to go to this other like better school, and it's taken me like nearly 40 years to go. Fuck, I fucked that up. That was me.
Do you
So they've
think?
never
Do you
really.
think?
Yeah,
Do you think? So yeah, what was the school like? Do you think it would have been better for you to go to the other place,
it would
or
have
do you
been.
think it
Yeah,
shaped you? Or
it would have been better for me academically, but then I don't think I've never been that academic, so it might not have done me any favors anyway.
I
Who
did well at
knows?
school,
Yeah,
but after that, like college, I was not. I just had because you're controlled at school a bit, and in college you sort of they let you go. And
yeah.
once I was allowed to do nothing, I just did nothing. And
So there was no
it,
pressure from your parents to do this or that, or
Well, there was at school, like, not for my dad. My dad was never really involved in the school work. He just like I was telling he was kind of like he's totally there, but he just doesn't know, like, he doesn't know what you should be doing at any one time or anything like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was just telling my son this morning because he was asking something about scouts or cubs or whatever it was, and me and my mate ran away from cubs and scouts. We were supposed to be on like there, and we ran away, and we were playing out front of the house, and it's like green grass there, and my dad came driving past, and we were obviously, he should have known that we were supposed to be there. I don't even, he was just like, "Hey boys, what are you doing?" Just like totally oblivious. So yeah, I can't remember the point of the
Just so like, did your parents
ramble.
like pressure you into doing anything?
Yeah,
Like
no,
any kind of particular job, or because I know my mum and dad, they weren't. There's not so much pressure, but it was always like get a job, learn a trade, and then you've always got something to fall back on. My dad was
yeah,
more because my dad went to art school, so my dad was more like, look, whatever you do is what you do, just as long as you're getting
yeah,
paid to do it. And mum was always more like, get a job, just doesn't matter. Drive a van, drive a bus, dig a hole in the floor, do something like that.
yeah.
So I've had that, but there wasn't real. They've kind of gone along with everything I've done and rolled their
Yeah,
eyes along the way.
my folks have done the same thing, really. I think I went to university after. Well, basically, I tell you, I started after college. I did a printing apprenticeship, right? And the only reason I did that is because someone in a college class was like, "There's good money in printing." And I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
I'll be a printer." So I went and started up an apprenticeship for that. And it's the most boring fucking job you've
Really?
ever seen. Yeah, you're sat by this machine, and you just sat by it all day, and you have to check like this little color thing to make sure the colors match up so the things get printed like crisp. But other than that, there's not a lot to do. And there was a filing cabinet full of porn magazines by my machine, and so I was just like flicking through those during the day,
Yeah.
and sitting on this seat. And I was like, I don't really know what you do, and then I came in one day and I saw the seat had gone. And I was like, are they trying to tell me something without actually telling me? So I built a seat out of pallets, and then I fell asleep on it. And then the guy's like brought me up to the office, and he was like, look, he goes, I don't think this is working out. And I was like, what? I was like totally shocked. And and he goes, I think you'll thank me for this in years to come, but I don't think this is for you. And like, he was so right. It was just like,
Yeah.
if I'd have just carried on down that path, I don't know. I can't imagine doing a job where you have to do the same thing every day and it's just your life.
Yeah.
So I went to university after that, and I didn't really know. My mum was disappointed that I got kicked off of this apprenticeship, right? And I just like sort of panicked. I was like, "Don't worry, Mum, I'm going to go to university." I thought that'll make her happy. And I just chose. I didn't know what I was going to do. I chose, but I knew I liked cars at the time. I was a petrol head. So I chose a motorsport design and engineering degree, and the only place
You're
they
right.
did that was in Swansea. It was like Swansea and Farnborough, I think. And I went to see Farnborough, and it's just like desolate town. One of those
Yeah.
like outskirts towns where there's just like nothing. You ever been to those where you gig at them and you drive at them and you're just like, I don't even know why this place exists. You know?
Yeah,
I just,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
feel like that sometimes.
Yeah.
I'm just like, just move. It's so bleak, so
Yeah.
bleak. So I was like, I'm not going to Farnborough. So I chose Swansea without going there, and it was awesome. I loved it, but I didn't
Yeah.
really. Again, the degree, I didn't really work at the degree. I just did what I had to do to get by, but it was just fun living there. It was
Swansea's a great place. Yeah.
Swansea's amazing. I loved. I stayed there for the course was 4 years, and I ended up staying for 7 years. I
Oh,
bought
wow.
a place there, and I was just wasting time. I had to leave there in the end because I was having fun, but I was doing nothing. I was just getting nowhere.
I've got a lot of love for Wales. Yeah. Go
Yeah,
on.
no, it's a great place. Where we were in Swansea as well. I don't know how well you know it, but there was a street called Wine Street opposite where we were living, and it was closed off for traffic from like Thursday evening to Sunday
Yeah.
in the nights, and it's just bars all the way up. So it
I
was
know
like
it.
being on
Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah.
know it? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like being on an 1830s holiday for like 6 years. It was madness.
Yeah, my
But
son had his stag
yeah.
do there.
Oh, did
Yeah,
he?
yeah.
Yeah.
And
Vine Street.
yeah, and we
Where
got
did you
there.
end
And
up?
well, the thing is, they're not they're not massive party boys. What I learned
Right.
on that stag do, like they were, we went and we played Dungeons and Dragons in the afternoon,
Right.
and then
Yeah.
they
Is
went.
that in that shop? Is there a shop there, a Dungeons and Dragons shop?
Oh no, this was back. So they rented a house for the weekend, and then they
Right.
did it at
Yeah.
the
Okay.
house. And then
Yeah.
I think they just felt because it was a stag do, they felt kind of obliged to go out and do it.
Right.
And we
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
out. We went to this one bar, and I was like, right, let's have cocktails. So I got them all around the cocktails, and it was
Yeah.
like, let's get some food. We got some food, and let's do this. And then by about 10:30, after we'd done mini golf and all that, they were like, it's getting a bit crowded now. Should we go back? And they went back and
Yeah.
just sat and drank at the house. So yeah,
Yeah.
so I know of it. I know Wine Street. I didn't get to experience. I was probably too old as well. It was only a couple of years ago. I would look a
Yeah.
right dickhead. You don't want to. There's always one old
Yeah.
tosser somewhere.
There totally is. I remember seeing people out like that and not thinking about now, like when I go out, I just feel like I shouldn't be here. I
Yeah,
don't want to be here. I don't know whether I wanted to be there that much when I was even younger when I was there. You know, it just felt like that's what I should be doing.
yeah.
But I never was completely comfortable with it.
I think you have
But yeah,
to.
Wine Street is mad. Did you go up to the Mumbles at all?
No, no.
That's really nice. But they do like a Mumbles Mile pub crawl, which is
Oh right.
it's along the seafront, and there's all these lovely little pubs along there, and it's really nice up there. It's a bit sort of more civilized,
Yeah.
but well, it's civilized apart from when they do that Mumbles Mile pub crawl. It's like the university thing, and that's not civilized. That's the opposite.
No.
It's
That
a
sounds
fancy
great.
dress pub crawl, and it is fun.
Yeah.
Or it was fun.
I
I ended up one night on the pier there because on this fancy dress pub crawl,
Yeah.
I was dressed as a priest. I ended up fighting with two people dressed as builders on the pier. I was a priest and they were dressed up, you know, like YMCA builder types, and we were fighting on the pier.
I'd love to have seen that. I would have just
I
been.
know, I bet it looked good. Yeah,
I bet it looked amazing. I love this video footage online of like dinosaurs having a good kick in, and
yeah, those are great.
I'm not saying that violence is. I'm just saying when people
When
in
you're dressed
fancy
up, it is. Yeah. It's very fun.
I love all that. It's
Yeah.
dear. You know, it's funny. As I get older, I'm glad that I'm aware of where I'm at age-wise because I don't want to be a tragic old git. There's a friend of mine, beautiful friend of mine, and their daughter and boyfriend came to a gig in Brighton.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, they were like, "Oh, let's go and have a pint." I was like, "Yeah, fine." So we went and had a pint with them, and they're like, I think they're like 20, 19, 20. So
Yeah.
we're sitting in the pub and we're having drinks and that. And then they were like, and then a few more of their mates turned up, and then they were like, "Oh, we're going to go to this other bar. Rich, come with us." And I was like, all right, I'll go to that one. Yeah, I'll go to that one. So then we go to that, and then now this one's rocking, and we're in there, and I'm with them, and they're all like 19, 20, and I'm 51. And I'm like, oh, and they start doing shots, and I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. All right, so I did that. Oh, we've got our mates on the door of this club that's just opened on the seafront. We're going to go down there. Oh, fuck. So I get dragged down there, bless them. And we get in there, and then we get given VIPs, which is always, you just cut off from the fun. So now I'm in this VIP bit, and I just slid off. I did that. I just went. And
It's so bizarre, that VIP thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Who goes in there and what they think of themselves.
It doesn't matter. The rest of the place is jumping, and you're stood in this weird corner.
It's such a weird thing. The whole thing going out is all like you can see people's, like you can see inside people, can't you? I think when you're out in those, you know what I mean? You can see people's like egos and their fears and what they think is important. It's quite fun to people watch like it, but I can't get involved with it like on a level, like seriously, like I'm there to be there.
I am a VIP.
Yeah. Or just like being out in those places. I'm like the most enjoyment I can take out of it is people watching. you
Yeah.
know, in yeah. It depends. Like if the music is something I really like and I can dance, I can get into it that way. If it's something
Yeah.
I love, then I can get into it. But like, if I can get lost in the music, but other than that, I can't be there.
No, 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 no. I get that. In my head, it's just, no, I'm like Tom Selleck in Friends when he was hanging out with Chandler and Joey. And you're like, nah, I
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
go. I look a cunt. I got
yeah,
to go.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But how are you? So, what do you make of so the minute, we're in the middle of this massive mental health breakthrough. Everyone's talking about it. The conversations are happening left, right, and centre. What do you make of it all? How do you feel about it? Is it something you benefit from, or do you think it's gone too far? Like, it's
I
some people.
mean, I do. If I'm brutally honest, I think I think a lot of people are very soft.
Mm,
I do think that I think it's like I don't want to like muck people in with genuine. I think a lot of people have genuine problems, and I
yes.
think it's definitely a good thing. It's like anything when there's like a movement. There's a step forward, good things happen from it, and then there's also people that take advantage of it and be like, I'm also mentally ill, and I'm offended if you look at me like that or too long. Or
Yeah,
just like,
yeah, yeah.
you know what I mean? But so I think it's a good thing, but also there are some people where I'm just like, you're too weak. You're too weak,
Yeah.
and you need to be wheedled out of existence.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. This is just, natural selection. I think there is
Yeah,
an
yeah,
element. Yeah, there does have to be a moment where you have to go. You have to try and dig in and go, right. I need to. I do need to
yeah.
get
I
into
mean,
this, and but
I'm probably, like every generation has got the older generation which don't get the younger generation, and I'm one of those probably.
mm,
But yeah, there's just like just a weakness and a complainingness sometimes. I'm just like I've got no patience for,
yeah.
and yeah, it just seems to slow up doing things, and I'm just I haven't got time for that.
No, but someone was telling
Yeah,
me the other day they were in a coffee shop or like a restaurant place, and the food turned up, and they were getting charged like something like 15 quid. And he's like, and it turned up, and he's like, this is bollocks. This is actual bollocks. And he's called the person, the waiter, over and went, excuse me, mate, I'm really sorry, but this is obscene. This isn't what I. This is outrageous. Then the
yeah,
person went off, came back with the manager, and the manager went,
yeah,
you've upset our staff member with your attitude. And he's like, I'm just telling you that I don't want to be ripped off. This is disgusting. And they went and they brought over the card reader, and they went, we want you to pay now, and when you finish, we want you to leave immediately because you're not welcome in this establishment. And
wow,
all he did was, and I know him, and he's chill, and he just went, all I
yeah,
did was say, I'm not happy. I'm not happy with this.
yeah,
And they went,
yeah,
oh, I'm offended. You were rude to me. Like, I wasn't rude
yeah,
to you, but some people are going to
yeah.
be rude. This is
I
all you.
know.
Some people are going to call you a cunt. You got to deal
And
with it.
I think it's a necessity as well for some people to call you a cunt, because otherwise, otherwise you're going to crumble when something real happens to you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think I just yeah, I'm very sympathetic if it's deserved, but if it's not, I'm also critical of that. I feel like
I do get it. I
yeah,
want people to open up. I want people to talk to each other. I do want
yeah,
that. But I also want people to realize that sometimes you're going to have to face some shit, and you're going to have to face it head on. You can't,
yeah, no,
it's easy to go, oh, I'm not going to go out today. I don't want to face that. And I say that as someone who's done that very thing. There are things now that I still haven't dealt with from 2 years
yeah.
ago. I'm scared of them. They've become so big now.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
just got to deal with it.
I think generally, I think it's a good thing for um, for people for communication between people. Especially like I don't know. There's things that like so. There's no way that my parents would ever have apologized to me for something they did. They were never wrong. Do you know what I
No.
mean? Whereas now, I like if I do something wrong or I'm in the wrong, like you make mistakes as a parent, you're fallible. But
Yeah.
I think like from my generation, you don't realize that about your parents until you're like maybe in your mid 20s. Like, oh God, they're just people, and then you
Yes.
kind of have like a realization about them. Whereas now, I mean, I think it's a positive thing where if you do something, you catch yourself doing something wrong, you admit it to your kids, and you have a conversation about it, and they kind of understand that, and that I think is a good thing. Like just knowing your parents are fallible and that they're human, and you can have a conversation with them. They can do things wrong, and they forgive you for it, and I think you grow more. Both of you grow more in that sort of process.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I've said this loads on here that with my eldest boys, I've actually sat down with them, and I've actually said, "Oh, I could have been better. I could have been better," and I'm sorry. And they, and that's the other thing as well. When they turn around and go, "No, you're all right. And you weren't that bad. You know."
yeah,
It's just they understand, like you said, they've got that they've made that realization. Oh, you're a person, and
yeah.
you got your own person things to deal with. Yeah,
Have they ever brought up any specifics ever, or have they, whenever you've done that, or said that, have there ever been a time, like a specific time where they've
yeah.
identified, or you have?
My eldest pointed out one thing, a couple of things, and I cringed. I mean, oh yeah, sorry about that. I think I was
Yeah,
mucking around with him when he was a kid, really young, and I was a bit heavy-handed with him. I just didn't think, and I was just chucking him around. But I was a
yeah,
bit vigorous,
yeah, yeah,
and he remembered that, and I went, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." I said I was just a bit,
yeah.
I wasn't
I
thinking.
mean, it is. You forget how like terrifying adults are when you're a kid. When you're an adult, like, you imagine like
Yeah,
having to like play fight with someone who's like 11 foot tall or whatever to us now. It would be terrifying, wouldn't it? It would be.
yeah.
Yeah, you forget that. You forget. I always used to play fight with my dad a lot when I was younger, and I used to get my friends to jump in as well, or jump on his back and then go get him. But my dad was always quite heavy-handed as well, so they were really reluctant to get involved. But it was always a good time.
There is a lot of. I think this is. I know this sounds like just an old prick whinging, but I'm not. There's just this because everything's really safe now.
Mm,
They've missed the thrill of jumping off the shed onto 12 old
yeah,
mattresses,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and I wouldn't want my
I
kids to do that. But
well, yeah. I've my little boy is super cautious, and he is. I have to really try and. This morning I was boiling an egg, and I was like, "Look, come here." I want to show him how to like dip it a few times before you put it in, so the egg didn't crack. It didn't fucking
yeah,
work. It cracked anyway. But I was like, "Can I go? Come here, come here." And he was reluctant to come too close to the gas hob because it's hot, and I'm like, "Look, I'm standing right by it. It's safe. Come here."
yeah,
So he's like super cautious, and I want him to be more of like my dad was so reckless.
mm,
Like he had so many accidents, and my mum's like super cautious, and I think I've got a little bit of both. Like I like to take calculated risks.
yeah,
Um, but so I do want my son to do more like adventurous shit, but at the same time, it is kind of nice to know that I can completely relax if we're anywhere because I know he's not going to do anything crazy. But
yeah.
yeah, I want best of both worlds, because
I
it is
know.
fun doing like crazy shit sometimes, isn't it? It's
Oh, it's
crap.
amazing. Well, I
Yeah,
remember again the jackass thing, and I probably have talked about this on here. We lived in the middle of nowhere, and we had this house that had didn't have any neighbours at all. And on this
yeah,
massive plot of land, there was a garage up the driveway, a big, massive double garage with a mechanics pit in it. And I was in the kitchen one day in the house, and there was this massive explosion that rocked the house.
yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is that? And I looked out the window and I saw the lads running, Grant, Keanu, and Bailey, running from the garage and down the hill. I went out. I went, what are you doing? And they built a fire in the mechanics pit and then
Yeah,
they threw aerosol cans on it, and it went
great. Yeah,
fucking
yeah, yeah.
boom. Yeah,
Man, I was an absolute pyromane. I still am. I love fire. And we had this tree house that the bigger boys built, and
yeah,
when we were younger. So all like different age groups of kids used to hang around in this like the estate went round this like big grass green area,
yeah,
and then there's farmers' fields other side of that. And it was the hedgerow in one of the farmers' fields had these two big oak trees in it. And they built this amazing tree house up there. And you climb up one tree and you get across a bridge from that tree to the other tree.
Wow.
And then that had everything in it. And we were, it was multi-leveled. Like there was 3 floors to this tree house.
Oh my
And
God.
there's like, there was a curtain that was made out of some like underlay, like from carpet
Yeah.
underlay, rubber underlay that went out like an outdoor bit of it. And some kid brought these smoke bombs and lit one in the bottom rung, and then it was all smoke coming up. And he was like, fire, fire, and we all like run away. And then he's like, just kidding. And then so we played with the smoke bombs. We finished with those. We run out of those, so we just start playing with the matches that are left after that. And we like lighting things and stamping them out. And we ran out of matches, so we went down the shop and bought more matches. And we were just lighting stuff up there and then stamping it out.
Yeah.
And then someone lit the curtain, and obviously you can't stamp it out because it's hanging. And it just started getting bigger and bigger, and we were panicking. And I remember this clearly, someone going, piss on it, piss on it. And I was like, I haven't got one coming, I haven't got one coming. And this is the 80s as well. Like shell suits were all the rage, like highly flammable
Oh
shell
my
suits.
God.
We're all in our shell suits. And we just pegged it, we just ran off. And I remember running home and saying to my mum, I was like, she was on the phone. I was like, Mum, I think you need to call the fire brigade. The treehouse is on fire. And she's like, what? And then she comes running out into the road. And it's like there were these massive, massive oak trees, and they were just fucking ablaze.
Oh my God.
And the fields underneath were cornfields, like brown,
Oh.
ready to be like harvested. And bits of the tree falling down into the cornfields. The cornfields were on fire. It was a fucking scene. And yeah, we that got out of hand. And I think it was on the front page of the Houston Gazette, the local news, about the firing, and the farmer was losing his shit, and it was a whole scene. And I remember after that being really, my parents had a little an open fire in the house. And before I went to bed at night, I would like throw stuff on it, and they'd be like, "But what are you doing?" And I'm like, I didn't want to tell them. I was scared that the house was going to burn down.
Right,
So
right.
I was trying to put that fire out, but just like by fucking with it. But yeah, I was scared. I was scared for a little while after that. But there was, I nearly blew up a hotel in Spain, lighting
What?
fire by the gas tanks in there when I was little. I just used to light fires everywhere. I used to love it. But yeah, there's something just amazing about fire, where it's just it makes me feel good.
Oh mate, I'm the same. I feel we did the same thing. It was the field near us. So we lived right on the edge of town. So it was right. So the estate's finished, and then it was the fields. And there was a massive park, and then it went off into the countryside, and there was this massive cornfield. And the farmer had chopped a load of stuff down, and then he'd done one half of the field, and then he'd made a load of hay bales, and then the next half needed chopping down, and we built a camp out of the hay bales one day.
Yeah.
And then
We've done all that as well,
then my mate Winchy had cut the ropes, so they all fell apart. And then we found matches, and he went, "Oh yeah, we just light one like that, light it and stamp it out." And it was on a blistering hot day, and I remember I've never seen fire go like that. Like it just went, and we just went fuck, and ran to my mate Steve's house, and Steve Ball, and ran in and got his mum to call the fire brigade. And by the time like 3 fire engines turned up, like the field was just up. It was just gone. Yeah, and we were so convinced we were going to get banged up that we ran away to Chislehurst for the afternoon.
Did any of it come back on you?
No. We said it was these older lads that had done it, and they ran away. There was always something
away for some other reason.
Yeah. We were just coming to get help. There was always There was always something on fire. There was I remember there was a big swing up by. It was called the. It was a big bomb hole, and it was in the woods. And then there was this big tree that went over it, and they built a swing. Yeah, and it was all like washing machines.
Right up my alley as a kid.
Oh, mate, I loved all that. And I wouldn't, there was loads of us up in the tree, and we wouldn't swing out because we were scared. So the bigger lad set fire to the tree. to get us to swing.
That's great. I love that. Did it
But
work?
kids won't get to experience any of this.
No, I know. I do. Like statistically, I wonder if it's actually if it's safer now for kids or not. I don't even know if it is because you wouldn't let them just like go out. Like, there's no way. Yeah, I'd go out for the day and I'd be back in the sort of, I'd be back whenever I was hungry just to eat, and
Yeah,
you'd just be gone for the day, just on
yeah.
adventures. Loved it.
Just
But
out
yeah,
shoplifting if you were hungry. Or
yeah. I remember one of the kids. I didn't get into shoplifting until like I was later in life. But when I was younger, I remember I got caught actually when I was a little kid in the supermarket and stealing a lemon sherbet.
oh,
Forced my
really?
friend to, yeah, I forced my friend to steal one as well, and then we got caught, and he started crying. But I didn't. I remember a kid at my school being like a kleptomaniac, and he loved it. We would just go out nicking in the afternoon, and then just throw the shit in the river, like not to keep it, just like
Just
yeah,
nicking it.
just nicking
I
it. Yeah.
I remember the thrill of shoplifting. I'm not I'm not saying people should, but getting away with it, and then you
Well,
go home and then look at what you'd nicked.
I think in like with like today's, how much it costs. I think as long as you're stealing from like big corporations, I've got no problem with it. I think go ahead.
No, no.
Tesco, Sainsbury's, whatever you can get, just do it.
Yeah, if you can do it, yeah, do it.
Yeah.
But people are though. That's the thing. People, that's how
You
bad
have
things have
to. I
got.
mean, if yeah, you're forced into it.
Yeah. And you see on the news, they go, "Oh, people are nicking baby formula to sell it." I go, "No, they're not nicking it to sell it. They're nicking it
Yeah,
because they need it, and it's 15 quid
yeah,
a pop.
yeah,
It's disgraceful. It's things like that that upset me, and I have to be. I have to make sure I'm pretty chill when I leave the house. Otherwise, I feel I'm going to have a Michael Douglas moment and lose my shit over a can of Coke.
yeah. Yeah, I was talking about that film the other day. I haven't seen that. I saw it once, long time ago, but it's stuck in my memory. Just that bit of
Yeah.
him losing it because it's so frustrating when you come across someone who can't think for themselves at all, and they're
Mm.
just, the computer says no type stuff. It's I worry about that. I was like, I just, yeah, I feel like it highlighted it in like COVID times where they told everyone what to do and they just fucking did it. To
Yeah.
me, that's scary. I was still very much sort of free in my what I did and my movements, but yeah, to me, it's scary how just how much people just do what they're told. You know?
Mm. Yeah. Especially when it's by people that, as has been shown, one, aren't following the rules themselves, and two,
Yeah,
are so inept at what they're doing.
yeah,
They're all shysters. They're all fucking thieves. They're
they
just
are.
out for
Yeah, yeah.
themselves.
When someone's been like proven to just lie and bullshit in the past, I don't understand why you think they're not doing that now, or they haven't got any personal gain. And so, you know what I mean? And you're like, oh yeah, of course they're out there looking out for us this time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But apart from that, everything's fine, Ben.
everything is fine. Mate. No, I am like a generally, I'm like all good. Like to me, basically getting back with my now wife.
Mm.
It was just to me now everything else is a bonus. Like so I've reached like a level of like complete happiness, I feel like, and
Yeah.
everything else now is like extra shit to me. So I'm
Yeah, yeah,
I'm fully
yeah.
happy. I'm
That's
fully
amazing.
happy. And yeah, I try and uh just I try and consciously be a happy person as well because my dad is like a pessimist, right? And
Right.
I feel like I was like that for quite a lot of my like 20s. I would see the negative in everything. And there's an experience I had, which I can't actually speak about right
No.
now, but which just gave me a new perspective and was just like, oh, if you're just like happier, you smile, people are nicer to you. Your whole world is basically is what you put out there. It's
Yeah.
reflected. So you change your whole world by whatever you think. So I think it takes like a while of doing it consciously, and it just becomes your norm. But if you consciously catch yourself being negative and just change it, you take a breath, do whatever you need to do, and rather than look for the problem, look for the solution, or look for what's
It's
good in
true.
the situation, and then it does just become your life, I think, and you're better to be around for other people,
Yeah.
and it's just your whole world just gradually changes, and it becomes a happier place. And I feel like that that's probably what brought me and my wife back together again later in life. She always talks about manifesting stuff, and I'm like, she's like a witch. She believes in all the magicals. She believes in all the magic, right? And I'm like, I don't believe in any of that, but I do believe that if you have got something on your mind and you keep it in your mind, you manifest it in that way. Like you've got a target, and you'll notice other
Oh,
things which will
yeah.
help you get to that target. It's not magic. You just notice other things along the path that are going to help you get to that target because you've got it in your mind. So I think in that way, that's what brought us back together, because I always had her on my mind. And
Oh, mate. And you kept in touch all that time?
no, we were
Really?
connected. We were connected on social media, but we didn't. I actively didn't look at her or contact her or anything like that, because I just didn't want to put myself through it. So I just sort of like cut everything away out
Yeah.
of her. She would like message maybe on birthdays once, every now and then, just say happy birthday. But I got an anonymous Valentine's card sent through saying it said I should have said yes on it, and I didn't know who it was from. There was a couple of names which it could have been, so I went on like a quest to try and find out.
Yeah.
And it came basically the card came with letterheaded paper from the Savoy Hotel with a note, because it didn't go straight to me. The card went to a friend of mine,
Right.
and because she didn't know where I lived, and said, "Can you get this to?" This letter said, "Can you get this to Ben?" And it was on letterheaded paper from the Savoy. So I went down to the Savoy with the card and the note, and I was like, "Can you check if any of these names have stayed here?" And they were really cool, actually. They went and they checked stuff out for me, and it came up blank. And then I got my mate who won the X Factor like 12 years ago. He's got like 1 million followers on Twitter to like tweet it out, and it did this kind of like mini viral thing online.
Oh,
And
what?
loads of people were like coming up with names suggesting like from my past, and most people were suggesting Natasha. And I I didn't want to like contact her directly and be like, "Was it you that sent this card?" Just in case she was like, "No," and I'd be like, "Yeah, no, don't worry about it. I've been thinking about you for
Whatever.
16 years either. Don't worry." So I think I didn't want to do that. So I didn't ask her. I just kind of like I pursued. I wanted some kind of definitive evidence about who it was before I approached anyone. So I kind of forgot about it, and then she was putting on an event in May. So this was in February, and then I kind of forgot about it after a little while. And I stopped trying to chase down any leads, and then she put on this event in May, and it was basically she was a memorial concert that for her dad. Her dad was in a rock band in the '60s, and he died like 4 years previous. And so
Oh,
they were
right.
putting on this like that there was a memorial concert, and they were showing a film of it at the Curzon. So I was like, because I was really good friends with the family when we first went out, I was like, I sent a message saying I'd love to come along to this if it's cool. And she was like, yeah, come down. I'll put you on the guest list. So I went down to it, and I arrived there late as well, which I fucking was kicking myself for when I
Oh,
first got
mate.
there. 'Cause I was just the first 15 minutes couldn't concentrate. I was like, you fucking idiot. I was like, your one chance and you fucked it up, you moron. And and then I saw her like after, because she was on stage for a Q&A afterwards, and then there was a little after party thing, and I saw her at that, but everyone kind of wanted to speak to her, so we didn't really get much of a chance to talk. So uh, we said, should we like meet up for a coffee, to, like catch up? And we did that like a couple of weeks later. And then we met up the day after, and the day after that, and the day after. I didn't really know what was happening. I thought, are we just like being friends, or what is this? And then kissed on I think it was the fourth or fifth day,
Yeah.
and she was like, she goes, I've got I want to tell you something. And I was like, what? And she goes, oh, I don't want to tell you. I don't know if I should say. And I was like, what is it? And she was like, it was me that sent you that card. And I was like, fuck off. I was
Mate.
like, I've been in love with you for 16 years. Because I thought I was trying to,
Ah,
I thought I was trying to have to win her back at the time. So
right. Oh, I
as
see.
soon as I
Yeah.
knew that it was her, like she was trying to get me back too, I was just like all in straight away. I was just like, I'm still in love with you, and yeah.
Oh,
So it was all from then ahead because my son is my stepson. It's her son. But any other relationship where someone had a child, I would be sort of very careful treading going into it. But because it was her, I knew it was just kind of like full on straight away after that, and I've got like a great relationship with him now, and it's just great. It's all good. Yeah.
oh, Ben, that is such a lovely story.
Yeah,
Such
no,
a
it's
lovely
nice.
story.
I like it.
What?
Yeah.
And that's a mate. Ah, that's lovely. That's really made my heart sing. What a beautiful thing. Honestly. Ah, mate. What rock band was it?
Cream.
Fuck off.
Yeah. It's the singer Jack Bruce, bass
You're
player,
fucking
singer.
kidding.
No, that's my father-in-law.
What? What did
Yeah.
you say? Fucking hell. Cream, one of the greatest bands that ever were. Oh my
Yeah,
God.
I mean, I didn't when we first went out. I didn't even I wasn't into that type of music then, and I had no idea who he was. You know, I was just like, I understand he's in a famous band or whatever, and but afterwards I was just like, I remember people saying to me, that's my favorite band all the time. I was like, fucking hell. I was like, that was amazing. And now, and she's gone. It's all gone. I was like,
Yeah.
fuck. But,
Fucking hell,
but yeah,
man.
no, he died when we got back together. But, I mean, they're just amazing. Like some of the most iconic songs, you know, and they were the biggest band in the world for the 2 years that they were together. They were massive.
Mate, Ginger Baker, one of the greatest drummers that's ever lived.
Yeah.
Oh my God. And it's funny because I sort of know Steve White, who was Paul Weller's drummer. I remember having dinner with him.
Right.
And I said to it, and I was a bit pissed. I'd watched the documentary about Ginger Baker, and then I said, how big a cunt was Ginger Baker? And he went, not at all. He goes, he was an absolute sweetheart. He goes, that documentary did him no favours. They stitched him up, but
I don't know.
dude.
I haven't heard that, but I think he's mad. But so there's I'll tell you the story. So when my wife was, I think it's about 5 years old. Her and her sister were on the tour bus with with the band go along. And Ginger Baker was sat with his legs across the aisle, and they walked up. They're just like 5 and 6, and he had his legs across the aisle. And he just looked at them and just went, "I fucking hate kids."
I'll take it back then.
Yeah. No, I think he was a volatile human being. I'm sure he was nice to certain people and but you know, I think people as well who are that good at what they do are often a little bit, you know, they're a bit tapped.
Yes,
You know,
definitely.
a bit single-minded, so they don't care so much about other people in the other world around them.
Yeah. Oh, mate. Oh, what a beautiful way to finish.
Yeah.
See, I could get lost talking about music all day. Producer Paul, I'd bend his ear over this shit. Oh, mate, Ben, this has been wonderful. Where can we find you on the socials?
Instagram. I mean, the thing I like to promote on Instagram and TikTok most is the Lovely Boys, mine and Willie's page at the Lovely Boys, and my personal one is at Ben Cohen Comedy. I'm on most things, and that's it. Yeah.
Fantastic, Ben. Honestly, it's been a real pleasure to have you on, and we'll be having you at Tunbridge Wells on the 18th of
Looking
Feb.
forward to that.
So that'll be a good night. It's such a great crowd.
Do you compare that?
I compare it, and they're always up for it. And it's in a little basement under the Sussex Arms, which is a music venue. It's only little, but we have a great time. You'll have a great time. We'll have a great time.
I'm looking forward to it. That sounds good.
It's going to be great, mate. Thank you for listening to us, everybody. This has been Insane in the Membrane. This has been Ben Cohen of the Lovely Boys. I've been Rich Wilson. Thanks to producer Paul as well. And we'll see you next time.
Insane in the Membrane.